A lot of people often ask, what's an NC-DIP? An NC-DIP, North Carolina Diversity Inclusion Partner, is an organization that I conceived of in 2003. I pulled together a group of people at Duke University, and we thought that, well, there's a host of different kinds of diversity inclusion organizations, but they tend to be organizations that focus on a particular job category. There are organizations for presidents and for student affairs people and for chief diversity officers. We thought that we would put together an organization that cut across job titles, but probably more importantly, an organization that reflected a host of different types of institutions.
I'm so excited to be here today and to have the honor of being the convener of the North Carolina Diversity and Inclusion Partners Consortium this year, because at Wake Forest, like many other institutions in the nation, we've really been grappling with these issues of how to take our increasingly diverse campus community and make everyone here feel included, make them feel connected both to the mission of the university and to their peers, and also to the mission of Wake Forest University. I've been a member of this community for more than 30 years as an undergraduate student, a master's student, a member of the faculty, and an administrator for now close to 20 years. When I was appointed the assistant provost 5 years ago, it was one of my missions to really work across the whole institution to not only increase the diversity of our community, but to build a fully inclusive campus community where we honor difference, however difference is defined, beyond race and gender, but looking at sexual orientation and religious pluralism, looking at issues of ableism, looking at the equality for women, for instance. That's a huge issue on our campus, taking on these equity issues. And the work is not always easy, because in the past, when most of our college communities were more homogeneous, it was appropriate for institutional policies to be based on equality. We wanted everyone to be treated the same because they were pretty much the same. But now that we have more diverse campus communities, the goal has to be equity. And that doesn't mean treating everyone the same. It means treating people the way they need to be treated in order to feel that they belong and that their differences are honored.
I'm really happy to be here because this work, understanding the unconscious mind and how it affects us, particularly in regard to diversity and inclusion, is so important in institutions of higher learning. And we're living now at a time when we understand more about the mind and the brain than we've ever known before. And now through various different technologies and testing mechanisms, functional resonating imagery and things like this, we can see the brain and see how it responds. And what it's teaching us is that we may not think the way we think we think. That in fact most of our thoughts are quite robotic, quite automatic. The metaphor I like to use is it's like hitting a button on a jukebox and that song begins to play. And so an awareness of how little we know, how little we actually understand of the way we think, is critical to us. Now, to some degree, especially in environments of higher learning, where the currency of trade is how much you know, that's very threatening. You know, the notion that I may not really be as rational as I think I am can be quite threatening to somebody who's supposed to be very rational and supposed to be very knowledgeable. But in fact, it can be quite liberating. If I recognize that most of what I believe is programmed, and I begin to look for that programming, it's at that moment that I actually have the capacity for freedom of thought. At that moment I have the capacity for whether or not I want to let those preconceived notions, those programmed thoughts to run my life. The metaphor I like to use is like stepping on the clutch in an automatic standard transmission automobile. When you step on the clutch, the motor keeps running, except it stops pushing the car forward.